So with that in mind, we're going to start with a short breathing exercise, and then we'll get into the physical practice. So taking on a posture that allows you to sit up tall, as tall as possible for you at this time in the morning. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes, you can do that. Starting to draw in some deeper breaths through the nose and some open mouth exhales. Do 2 more just like that, in through the nose, nice and deep. Opening the mouth to let it go. Sealing the lips and breathing in and out through the nose. And the pranayama, the breath practice that we're gonna explore today is called the box breath, which you might be familiar with. So it is 4 count inhale, a 4 count hold at the top of the inhale, a 4 count exhale, and 4 counts of holding the exhale. So we'll do a few together, and then I'll kind of cut you loose. And your counting might change a little bit. Maybe it's 5, 5, 5, 5, etc. You can kind of make it your own. So 1 more just regular in and out breath. Let's begin that first. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold. 2, 3, 4, exhale. 2, 3, 4, hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3. On your own. Stop. When you are finished, no rush, but when you get done that final exhalation, you don't need to do the hold after the exhale. Finishing up that exhalation, fluttering the eyes open if they're closed, wonderful. And we'll come into our tabletop position and start to move around. Spreading the fingers nice and wide, knees underneath the hips. We start with a gentle cat and cow. The inhalation extends the spine, chest opens, gaze lifts. Exhaling, tuck the pelvis under, ribs knit in, chin to chest, pressing the floor away. Continue this wave through the spine, inhaling, extend, and exhaling to flex. Filling the body with the breath. Last full round of inhale and exhale. Returning to neutral spine, the right foot will come forward to replace the right hand, pressing ourselves up into an upright posture, 90-90 to start. We're going to walk the foot out about a foot. We're walking the foot out about a foot. And for here, our knee is well behind the ankle. We're going to slowly take the knee and send it over ankle. So this does a few things. It's gonna open up the back hip, right? So we're in a longer lunge position. The inhale lifts the left arm high. The exhale is gonna bring it into a bend. So we're in a lateral bend here. Energy through the fingertips and settling in on the breath. The inhale brings both arms up over the head, reach high. Exhale, we're gonna twist. So right hand will come to the low back, left arm comes to the outside of the thigh, and a gentle looking over the shoulder. Yeah, other way, yeah. Good. Can't take it too seriously, you know. There's a lot of serious stuff happening, but this is not one of them. Good. To bring both arms up and over the head. Exhale, either hands come down to the floor or to hips, because we're going to send the hips back to find a length in the knees, in the front knee here. So you might keep your hands to your hips. If you might bring a little deeper bend into the front knee, it doesn't need to be straight in order to find the floor with the hands. Right, so lots of options here. And our goal here is just to find a stretch in the back of the front leg. That's it. So once you find it, settle in and breathe. And again, this is what we spoke about in the beginning of class, where we are confronted with discomfort, right? And then we learn to breathe into it. We learn discomfort versus pain, right? Finding the edge. And building this really trusting relationship between the body and the mind, where the body trusts the mind not to take it too far. Rock the weight forward, so we end up back into the lunge. Yeah, one last stretch for that bit. Well, we'll get more stretches, but in this moment, nice. Both hands are going to come to the inside, and we'll return to the tabletop position. Okay, left leg forward. Pressing ourselves up first into 90-90, and then we'll walk the foot out about a foot. It's not it doesn't have to be exactly, but it could be, if your back hip is really tight, you might be like, I just go to here, right? Because that's plenty for me. If you feel like you have a lot of space, then walk the foot forward more, and then send the knee forward, and that will open up the back hip. The inhale brings the right arm over the head. And the exhale brings us into the lateral bend. And then we breathe space into the shape that we've taken on. Okay, the breath is so incredibly useful in our building our mobility and our flexibility. The inhalation brings both arms up and over, and the exhale brings us to a twist. So the right hand comes to the outside of the left thigh, left hand comes to low back, a gentle looking over the back shoulder. Shoulders relax out of your ears. If you notice you have a little tension where the shoulders are elevating, see if you can just let that tension go. Shoulder blades sliding down the spine. Imagining that you can breathe into the places of tension in the body. So if that's the hip or somewhere in the upper body, see if you can direct your breath to those places. On the inhale, both arms to the top of the head. Exhale to either frame the foot or bring hands to hip, whatever you want to do. And you'll start to shift the pelvis back to find that hamstring stretch. So this isn't a passive pose because we do have some core working to keep us balanced, right? It's not the most balanced position ever. Notice if you can continue the breath filling the low belly, right? So if you're starting to clench the low belly, notice that. Send the breath down. Even steady inhales and exhales. rocking the weight forward, both hands come to the inside of the foot, swinging the left leg around to return to your tabletop position. Right leg is gonna go back, tuck the toes under, yeah. And then a gentle rocking back and forth, just a little bit. Notice if you're kind of heavy on your pinky side, send the weight over more towards the big toe side. Starting to stretch and wake up the calf, Achilles, etc. Nice. Shoulder stack back over the wrist, lift up the toes, those back toes, about 4 or 6 inches, not very high. We're thinking length, not height. Reach back with the heel, flex the ankle, and then tuck the ribs in slightly here. So it's a slight tuck in of the ribs and tuck under of the pelvis. Nice option to lift the left up with the thumb pointing up. Good, holding and breathing. On your next exhalation, knee and elbow come towards each other, perhaps touching underneath the body. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale to contract it. Follow your breath rhythm. Final inhale, and the exhale this time will bring us back to our table. Hand plants and the knee comes down. Lovely, left leg goes back, tuck the toes, and a gentle rocking to and fro. Noticing the sensation in the toes, and the foot. And then finding stillness with shoulder stack over the wrists, lifting the toes just a bit, so 4 to 6 inches. And once their toes are lifted, slight tuck under of the pelvis and tucking in of the ribs to neutralize the spine. And it turns on the core. So we're not just hanging out, we've got a lot of activity happening here. Option to lift the right arm. Thumb points up. Yeah. And breathing, right? As we become still, we might be tempted to hold the breath, kind of like waiting for it to be over. Breathe life into the position, into the experience. When your exhale comes, use it to bring elbow to knee underneath you. Inhaling to stretch long. Exhaling to contract. Continue with your breath, smooth and intentional. Moving in an organized fashion. One final inhale here, and your exhalation will bring you back to tabletop position. Widen out the knees and sit the hips back to the heels, stretching the fingers out towards the top of the mat. Resting forehead down or close. Rising back into your table. Here. The inhalation will bring the right arm up high, look up as it reaches to the side. Exhale, thread the needle, bend your left elbow as your shoulder drops. And then inhale, press back up, reach back up. Exhale, thread the needle through. And this will be a little bit of a dynamic movement here. We'll do a few times with the breath. Final inhalation, and when the exhale comes, return to tabletop. So hand will plant, and now that hand is going to stay planted as we move to left side. Inhaling, left arm reaches. Exhale, twist it up. Good. Continue with breath. As you twist, keep the palm facing up. So back of the arm. Back of the hand is resting on the ground. Last inhalation, and when the exhale comes, Plant the hand returning to your tabletop position. Nice. Right leg is going to go out to the side, 90 degrees. You can walk your hands just a few inches over to the left to center yourself a little bit better for your center of gravity. Inhale here. As you exhale, sit the hip back towards the heel. Inhale, rise back. Exhale, sitting back. Just a little bit of rocking motion here as we start to wake up now. The inner thigh probably is part of what you're feeling. Those who are really flexible, you might not feel that sensation, but last rock back. Pressing the hands up into an upright posture, so shoulders are stacking over your thighs. So right leg is out, shoulders are stacked over the hips. Inhale brings the left arm high up. Exhaling to come into lateral bend. Let the right arm relax. And if you feels okay for your neck, looking up past the elbow, almost like you're trying to slightly rotate the heart up towards the sky. On the inhale, both arms sweep high over the head. Exhale, tenting fingertips by your side and coming into a long top line. Yes, nice. Breathing space into that top line, the right side of the body. Inhaling to put both arms up over the head. Exhale, hands plant, knee comes in. And now the left leg comes out 90 degrees to the side. Walking the hands to the right just a little bit. Inhaling at the top and exhaling to send the bum back towards the heel. Following the breath, some gentle to and fro motion, smooth. Perhaps for some of you, you're dipping into those waters of discomfort, right? And then coming back out, right? It's like a little test. You're just going in, everything's fine. Being really encouraging and supportive to the body and the sensations. Last rock back. Good. And then we'll come into an upright position. Noticing that the leg is 90 degrees to the side, so it's not coming up at an angle, and it's not behind you. And just doing your best. Doesn't need to be perfect. Pretty close. Inhale to lift the right arm high. Exhaling to bring yourself into that bend. Gaze perhaps comes past the elbow. Nice. Energy through the fingertips. There's a natural kind of curve in this arm here. So don't worry about straightening the elbow all the way. Inhaling brings both arms up. You can look up high, big stretch. Exhale to plant the fingertips reaching over the head now. We can practice a little bit of this movement that we have in the top shoulder blade. So the shoulder blade moves up, the shoulder blade moves towards the ear, and then it can move down too. You can play around with that ability. Inhaling, both arms come up over the head, and the exhale plants the hands and the knee comes in. Lovely. Okay. We're gonna walk the hands out like half a palm length, not too far, just a little bit. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I got it. Inhaling here, exhale to send the hips back towards the heels. Inhaling to table, tuck toes, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling down to table, exhale, child's pose, untuck toes. Inhale to table, tuck toes, exhale, downward facing dog. This is the flow. The inhale will bring you always to table, and the exhale will bring you either to down dog or child's pose. The next time you're in your downward facing dog, stay. A little softness in the knees. Heels do not need to be on the ground. In fact, most of us, that will not happen. Good, instead thinking of prioritizing the length of the spine by having a nice bend in the knee and pressing the chest towards the top of the thighs. Big hip crease. Yeah, really nice. Walking your hands back to your feet. Folding forward as you arrive. Feet are at least as wide as your hips. Now take a bend in the knee, clasp on the opposite elbows, and let your head go here as you ragdoll, trusting the strength and stability of your legs as you sway back and forth, doing your best to relax the spine and the muscles of your upper body. Elbows get a little closer to the floor, top of the head gets closer, chin comes to the chest. Nice. Releasing the elbows on your inhalation, halfway lift, dragging hands up the shins. Exhale, fold forward, chin to chest, flex the spine. Inhale, halfway lift, length through the spine. Exhale, fold forward. This time, rise to stand through your flat back on the inhalation. Arms come over the head, looking up. Exhale through heart center, and then arms come out to your sides into Tadasana, mountain pose. Taking a moment to feel the body in its standing position. Weight in the feet, right to left, front to back. The inhale will bring both arms over the head. Exhale, pull forward, fold. So push your bum back, soften the knees as you come down. Halfway lift on an inhalation. Exhale, bring your left leg back behind you in a low lunge position. So we're on the ball of the back foot. Good. As you feel steady and ready, the arms come up and over the head. Nice. Palms towards knee. Good. The inhale is going to straighten the front knee. And the exhale is going to bend both knees as you bend the elbows. Good. Now finding your range. The inhale always is going to lift us up. And the exhale is going to lower us down. Find your range. Don't start with 100%. Ease in. Last time. Good. Hanging out at the bottom, hands come to the hips. Very nice. We're going to start to tip forward over the front leg. Starting to really build some heat in the front thigh. Arms will come into a W position. We're going to inhale to reach the arms up over the head. Exhale, pull the elbows towards the hips. Open the heart. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, tuck back and down. One more time. This time, as the arms come over the head, stack shoulders over the hips and come upright. Good. One final inhalation here. And as you exhale, come into plank position. Hands plant and the foot goes back. Nice. Pressing the floor away through the hands, ribs tuck in, squeezing the tush, squeezing the quads. Yeah, lovely. Drop to knees, untuck toes. Inhale here, and as you exhale, hug the elbows in and slowly lower all the way down to the mat. Baby cobra on an inhale, peel the chest up. Exhale, knees, then tuck toes, downward facing dog. A few breaths here in the down dog. The inhalation walks feet to hand. Exhale, forward fold. Rise to stand on an inhalation, looking up. And exhale to Tadasana, arms by your sides. Very nice. Coming to the top of the mat. Sorry, I think I brought you to the back and then forgot about it because my mat is perpendicular. Nice. Yeah. On the inhale, both arms reach high. Exhale, push your bum back, folding forward. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, descend the right leg. Inhalation will bring arms over the head, shoulders stacked over the hips. Good. We're starting with the knee over the ankle. Nice, turn your hands towards the knee. On the inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, bend both knees and the elbow. Good, few rounds of this, smooth. Letting your body really finish the breath. So not moving from here until you're really done your exhale. Trying to be honest with yourself about that, not rushing. Last time up. And then when we come down, we'll hold. Hand comes to the hips. Tip yourself forward at the hip. Back is flat. Arms come into W position with elbows towards the hips, palms facing down. Inhale to reach up over the head. Exhale to squeeze the shoulders down. Nice. Continue. Good. As the arms come up with the upper body as well into an upright posture. One breath here. Final inhalation, and as you exhale, coming to high plank position. Good. Shoulders stacked over the wrist, pushing the floor away, bracing through the core and breathing. Lowering down to the knees, untuck toes. Inhale here, and as the exhale comes, hug the elbows in and lower all the way down. Back bend of your choice, maybe coming into a bigger cobra. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Steady in your down dog, a few breaths here. Good, dropping down to the knees in our tabletop position. Nice, so we're gonna open up the hip here a little bit before we go into our peak pose and the combination. So opening the hip means we're gonna start to activate the outer glute muscles and our inner thighs. So we are gonna open the right knee out to the side, perpendicular to the body. So what I want you to think about here is the right hand is going to be very, very heavy because I don't want you rocking over to the left side, which is what the body wants to do. And you'll see once we get started. So let's try to pour some weight into the right hand. Nice. Inhale here. As you exhale, the right knee will lift out to the sides. Inhale in. Exhale out. Now, you might even take, you can continue this flow, just keep going with the breath. You might take the left hand and bring it to the hip. This combination right here is very similar to shoulder taps in a high plank that you might see in other OST programming. It's this ability to brace the core and keep our body really still and stable. The last one on the side. Oh, nice. Left hand plants, a little lighter on the right hand, heavy on the left hand. The inhale prepares us. The exhale opens up the left knee. Yeah, exactly. Option, if you want to take the hand off, that's fine. Thinking about keeping the spine totally still, bracing through the core. A lot of core engagement. Staying composed and steady by following the breath, right? The breath keeps us organized, intentional. Last opening of the hips. Beautiful, everything comes in. Send yourself, widen out your knees, toes stay together. Send yourself into a brief child's pose. You might stack the forearms, press the forehead down. Some breaths into the belly. You're teaching yourself to recover. Even if there's a very brief amount of time. Send the arms out long, lift the hips, returning to table, knees come back in, downward facing dog. Very nice. On the inhalation, the right leg lifts high. Exhale to bring it to the top of the mat. Very nice. Pressing yourself into your high lunge. Darn it, I was gonna have you bring your, if you have a thing, a block. So we're doing the similar, here, let's just stand at the top of the mat, everybody, so I can tell you where we're going. We have the same combination that we did, I think it was last week, where we're going from warrior 3 to half moon to revolved half moon. And as you can see, the hips are doing a lot, like, right, it's a lot of movement for the hips. So I have this ball, you can have, if you're at home, like the side of a couch, a chair, whatever you want to do. If you want to raw dog it with nothing, that's totally up to you. Nikki's got her trash can. So we will start we'll start at the top of the back because it is just an easier transition. So change that. So let's shift weight over onto the right leg to start. So the right leg is going to be our balancing, supporting leg to start. Hands are going to come to the hips. And we're going to start to tip at that front hip. So we're tipping, tipping, tipping. And we end up really what I like to think of as like very similar to the bird dog we did during the warm-up, right? It's just that you're on one leg and your hands are down. But it's a very similar in the sense that the hips are level, right? We have level pelvis here. Good. Now arm variations here, we can do airplane, hands can be at the heart. The most challenging thing is to reach out and over the head because lengthening the lever here makes it more challenging. Now squeeze the back leg, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Nice. All right, so the right hand is going to find a block or something out and slightly to the right. Out and slightly to the right. Left hand comes to the hip if it's not already there. And then start to open the hip up to the side wall. So now your top toes are pointed towards that wall. So we now are sort of almost stacking the hips vertically. Doesn't help when your thing that's supposed to keep you supported is moving, but the option here is to reach up with the arm, if you would like. And then the last option is to look up at the hand, which makes it, honestly, that's like the hardest thing I think personally. Good, hand comes to hip, if it's lifted, level the hips. Good. Now the left hand will come down slightly over to the left in front of you. And now hand comes to the right hip. We're going to start to open the chest and the heart to the right side. See if you can keep your leg lifted. Very nice. And if you'd like to reach up with the arm, that is up to you. Finding the breath. I know when it's, when you're concentrating, you want to hold the breath, let the breath flow. Hand comes to hip if it's lifted, square shoulders and hips. And with as much grace as we can muster, stand up, Tadasana. Very nice. Take a second to shake out the right leg. Very nice. Cool. It's not an easy combination. Do you find it challenging?
No grace here.
Yeah, we have a lack of grace. No, or everybody's doing great. Yeah. Awesome. All right, shifting the weight over to the left. Now it's a soft knee, I should have mentioned. We don't want to lock out the knees, particularly if you hyperextend the leg knee. So we're starting with that weight, and we're going to start to tip at the left hip, right? So this is a skill that we use in paddling, right? We want to be able to tip forward at the hip without rounding through the spine. Nice. And then you've got everything you need. If you need to come down with the hands. Otherwise, holding this position, warrior 3. Engage the back leg, reach with the back heel, flexing the ankle. Arm variation is up to you. Airplane is really good for balance. We're going to take the left hand down. It's out and slightly over to the left, and the right hand is on the hip. We're going to start to open the hip. Take a look at the left foot. Make sure that the toes are still pointed straight ahead and they haven't turned in. Good option to reach up with the arm. And breathe it, breathe in, breathe in. If you feel steady, with all of this, then maybe you look up at the hand. Hand comes to hip if it's lifted, level out the pelvis and the shoulders, level. Whatever your hand is on is going to move under the right hand. Left hand comes to left hip and turn the opposite way. So the chest is opening the other way. Keep reaching back and engaging the right leg. Reaching back and engaging the right leg. Good. Level the hips, leveling the shoulders, and slowly, as you can, come up, stand. Tadasana, and then give a nice shake for the left side. Really nice, everybody. All right, little water break here. I also just want to check the time to see where we're at, 9:40. I can't even remember if this OST, I said that the class was going to be 50 or 45 minutes. Do you guys know?
Whatever.
I know, normally it goes like almost to 10. Well done, everyone. So let's get in our paddle simulation here. Now that we're nice and warm. So that's time to do some practicing. Whoa. Should we use dowels? You at home, if you have your paddle, you can use your paddle. Yeah, that's fine. Use your paddle or a broom or Swiffer. Thank you. We've got these PVC pipes. Oh, see that cool trick? Didn't know I could do that, did you? And here's me. So it's a little confusing because I am mirroring everyone. So just I'm gonna try my best here. And normally I do it right, but you just never know. So feet are at least hip distance apart. They can be a little wider. Choose something that feels nice and stable to you. We're gonna start to bend down at the hips. We're gonna say that the water is on the left side. Okay, water's on the left side. So I'm gonna start with my paddle in just my left hand. Okay, just my left hand. Somewhere like middle to lower part of whatever you got in your hand. Perfect. So I'm gonna bend my knees here, not too much, just a little bit. All right, we got our nice like bend in our knees. Good, good, good. I'm gonna reach out with my left arm. Very nice. So I'm trying to get let's put the right hand on the hip because otherwise it's just awkwardly there and I don't like that. So we're gonna start to, in our minds, we've been working on this connection between the hip, the knee, the shoulder. So we're gonna reach out. So if the water's on that left side, I'm gonna start to reach out. My knee and hip follow my paddle. Good. And I'm gonna try to look forward. Good. Holding, 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 and breathing. Good. Yep. Noticing. Yep. We're gonna like our legs are on like railroad tracks. Very good. Bring everything back to center. Good. Inhale out. Exhale back to center. 2 more times. Last time. Stand up, arms down. Nice, very good. Let's do it again. We're gonna connect the top hand finally. So bringing top hand up, we're gonna be in what I consider to be like a set position, bending a little at the knees. This shouldn't feel super hard to be here in our set position, okay? All right, inhale forward. Exhale, neutral, back to set. 4 more times. Choose something to look at out in front. This time out and hold, hold. Very nice. See if you can roll the shoulders down and back your body a little bit more. Good. Let's bring it all back to set. Very good. Change sides. Water's on your right side. Bend to the knees. Left hand comes to the hip. Reaching out only. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, back to set. Good. 4 more times. Find that drummer, stare at them. Good, stand up, connect. Very nice, you might, I don't know, I felt like mine was a little short. Bend at the knees, set position. This should not feel difficult. Shoulders are relaxed, not death gripping. Very nice. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, set. 4 more times. Last one. Hold it here, hold, reach, reach. Shoulder blades come down the spine. Good, think about lifting the heart and opening the chest. Good, back to set, stand up, relax. Very nice. So we're gonna do that one more time on each side, and we're gonna add the lateral drop. So in that drill, we had 2 things happening. We had the hinge forward at the hip and the rotation, but what we didn't have was the lateral drop into the water. So we're gonna add that 3rd element on, that 3rd dimension on. Okay, so water on the left side, connect the top hand. Nice, we're gonna break this down to start. We're gonna reach out, drop, pull through, back to set. Good, reach out, drop, press. Good, reach out, drop, press. Good, 3 to go. Out, drop, press. 2 to come. Out, drop, press. Last one. Out, drop, press, stand up. Nice. Now that drop, so where we got a rotation, the drop isn't the arms dropping. It's the rib coming towards the hip. So that's the drop. And then if we had water, we would then press through, right? Like we're pole vaulting, like, and then press through, right? But first we need to plant the paddle. So oftentimes we're coming through without that drop and we're just going in at the negative angle. This lateral drop helps you get the positive angle that your coaches are always going on and on and on and on about. And it's film review and you're like, you're going in negative. Everyone's like so triggered, they're like, so that's what's gonna do it. Okay, second side. Gonna break it down. All right, forward, drop, press. Forward, drop, press. Forward, drop, press. 3 to go. Forward, drop, press. 2 to come. Forward, drop, forward, drop, press, relax. Nice job. Any questions about the elements of the stroke? Yeah, cool. So it seems like a little pedantic, but stuff that's gonna like all click in once we're in the water. Nice. All right, we're just gonna come down to the mat now because we're gonna do a few more little stretches and then I let you go. Oh God, 9:40. Coming to lie down on your back, nice and slow. Good. Once you get there, you're gonna bring the right ankle to the top of the left thigh, gently pressing the right knee away. If you'd like more of a stretch for the outer hip, clasping hands behind the hamstring. Softening your jaw and the muscles in your face. If you hug the legs in, place the foot down, unwind, and change sides. Nice and easy. Unwind the legs, give both knees a good hug in. Good. And then send the knees over to the right side, but scoot your hips to the left. So hips go left, knees go right. And what this does is it just helps to stack the hips before coming into the twist. Nice. Encouraging the shoulder blades down. See where you might be holding on to tension and effort and where you could possibly let go and soften. Easy breathing in and out through the nose. I used to, when I first started taking yoga classes, I thought it was so weird how they would tell us to breathe. I'm like, obviously we're going to breathe, otherwise we would die. You know what I mean? Back through center, hips go right, knees go left. But what I realized as I started to practice more and then started to teach, obviously learn more, was there's a big difference between intentional breathing, right, and then just our autopilot breath. So this intentional breathing, especially for athletes, but even just day to day, being able to connect with your breath, because the breath is happening right now. So when you connect your mind to the breath, you are coming into the present moment, because the breath is happening now. So it's also a nice way to, very simple way to be more mindful. Back to center. Big stretch, lengthen out the legs, arms come out over the head. Good, knees hug in, and we'll rock all the way onto the right side into the fetal position for just a few breaths. Your right arm might go over your head so you can kind of rest your ear on your bicep as like a little pillow. Gently pressing up with the left hand, coming to our seated position. Take a moment to ground down through your bum and legs, reach up as tall as possible through the spine, through the crown of the head, taking a moment of gratitude for yourself for prioritizing your POGA practice today. And a moment to thank and honor those who practiced with you, the space that we're so lucky to have, to be able to practice within the organization that offers this community. So many things to be thankful for. And finally, we do take a moment to honor and thank the teachers who have walked the path of yoga, the millennia, the lineage of teachers that have passed down this wisdom so that we may be here to humbly use it as a tool for ourselves today. And with this heart full of gratitude, open the eyes. I end class with Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, peace, peace, peace. Thank you so much. This was really nice. Not as cold and frigid in here as I thought it was going to be. That was kind of nice too. Thanks for joining. I'm going to stop recording. I'm so free.